Hey, everybody, welcome to Digging Up Dillinger. I'm your host, Tim Lillo, Travis Thompson, Stuart Fillmore, Todd Hiles. We're back after a long holiday break, and we just want to say, if you're listening, thank you very much for coming back. We really
That's
appreciate it.
right.
Absolutely, yes.
Welcome back.
Happy New Year to you guys.
Yeah, it's
Welcome back,
great.
everybody.
Yes.
Yeah.
2025,
And
could this be the year that we solve the Dillinger mystery?
I
Better
hope.
chance than
Uh,
ever.
I agree. We're talking. We just heard today that they're going to release the JFK, RFK, and MLK files. Let's
Oh,
go ahead
wow.
and
Yeah,
release. Let's go ahead and dig up Dillinger. Come on.
exactly.
So I'm glad you brought that up first, Stuart, because I think for us specifically in this podcast, but our listeners too, we need some way forward. What are we going to do? Because
Yeah. Right.
eventually, it's still 90 years old. It's hard for us to continue to dig up new stuff about
Yeah.
something that's been around
Yeah.
for 90 plus years. Here's the thing: we do have something new today that Travis is going to
Yes.
show us, which is really cool. But in addition, Trump being inaugurated tomorrow, because we're talking about this, he's come out and said he's going to release all these files, which is great. I do want to
Yep.
know what the drones are. I think that's also really important.
Oh, yeah.
But
Yeah.
that's beside the point. But I think for our listeners and our viewers, I think us requesting these files from the FBI as the ultimate source of the John Dillinger mystery, I think we have a good shot. I don't know how we're going to do it, and maybe Stuart, you
Yeah.
know somebody, or how could we do this?
Well, as far as I know, all the files that the FBI has relating to Dillinger are already out, and I've gone through every single in the FBI. You call each document within a file it's called a serial. So like the first document in a file is serial number one. And I think if I'm not mistaken, I think I've read every single serial in that file. So I don't think it's an issue of what has not been released, but in going through that file, I mean, I've in that report that I wrote, I listed all kinds of anomalies and problems that and I've said this before, if I were the case agent, I wouldn't want this case. I would be unhappy with the final identification of Dillinger.
What
So,
could we request? What would be a good question to ask the FBI to give us if they said, "All right, we're an open book. What
well,
do you want?"
yeah. So again, it gets to the issue of, is that Dillinger buried in Crown Hill Cemetery? It really is boils down to that. Now, is that enough for the Bureau to justify reopening the case? To get a final and modern identification of Dillinger? Probably not. I don't know, but again, you have a new administration coming in that has promised radical transparency, and the brand, if you will, of the FBI was built on the fact that the FBI got Dillinger, and so why not let's wipe that slate clean, and let's forensically, scientifically, with the most advanced tools possible, state once and for all, we got Dillinger.
So, do you think that we could do this? We could actually spend some time requesting that this be revealed, that this is a
Yeah.
major question, that the FBI's reputation was built on it. You want transparency. Let's get this one out because at least we
Yeah.
have the ability to do
Yeah.
it.
Exactly, because again, if you're going to wipe the slate clean and you're going to essentially start all over, effectively rebuilding the reputation of the FBI, let's clean this one up first. Because, like I said,
Yeah, put us to the front of the line. Forget JFK.
But isn't it? I was going to say, wasn't it possible though that there could be classified information that just was not in the Dillinger
Thank you,
file?
And
Todd.
yes, that is absolutely possible. It really is. Now, I don't know in those days if, I don't think they really had the classification system like they do now. I don't, because, in those days they didn't have freedom of information. So I don't think they ever thought that stuff would be public that's in there. But is there a certain part of the file that, well, we know that Hoover himself he had his own private files. And that was basically dirt to use against people that he needed to leverage. Some would call that extortion, as I would. But is there any possibility that any of those secret files, exist and were put under some kind of deep classification? I don't know if they are. I never saw it or heard about it with it, in the bureau. But that's not to say that they're not there. And if we're going to clean house, let's clean house. Let's pull the scab off and let's get this thing. Let's get to the truth of everything.
Definitely.
I wouldn't even know where to start. I mean, am I going and knocking on the FBI's door and being like, "Hey, could I?"
Yeah.
Do we need to wait for the new director to get confirmed and like?
Oh,
send a letter to
absolutely.
him?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think what we're going to be seeing is a fight to the death almost to keep him from getting confirmed. So I think that is actually very telling too. That you have somebody that has essentially promised he's going to come in and effectively wipe the slate clean, if you will, or start over. And a lot of people don't like that. I'm more in the camp of, hey, let's get it out there. Everything that's all classified is
Yeah.
most of it is just ridiculous. It's just basically to avoid embarrassment is really what it boils down to.
Yeah, and the other half of it is too. We gotta. I mean, I've never heard you say that before. That you want this thing solved, Stuart. So this is new.
That's breaking news. Yeah, breaking news.
Yep.
This will be interesting. I want to at least in our power as American citizens, and for you guys to have at least some connections, right? And as you can tell, we're in it now with the family here. So the
There you go.
podcast is
Hey,
going forward.
you know what?
Whether
That's life. That is
yeah,
life.
that's life.
Everybody has families,
But
and so
we can at
that's
least
it.
promise that we're gonna try to do something different.
Yes.
And ask
Yes.
and just ask.
Yes.
I mean we'll keep
Absolutely.
everybody posted on what we
There's
do.
never been a time in history, I think, where the opportunity for this is better than it is now.
Yeah, and with that, I think history is changing tomorrow with the inauguration. President Trump is being sworn in again. They've moved it inside from what people are saying because of whatever threats or weather or whatever they're saying. But to that point, I mean, we are pretty heavily involved with TikTok. Digging up Dillinger, we have 4,080 followers as of today, and you guys, Texas Crime Travelers, I mean, you guys are up in the 500,000s.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
Yesterday was a big day for a lot of creators and people who take, content creation very seriously. Instagram sucks. Facebook Reels suck. YouTube kind of shorts suck. I mean, in terms of the algorithm. And so the reason I'm bringing this up is because it's really important for our message to be like our community to find our messaging pretty quickly. As well as all other creators. But what do you guys have to say after that 16 hours of, or so of a ban, a TikTok blackout?
Yeah, personally, I have mixed emotions, I guess, about TikTok because it's all the things you just said. It's a very important. Let's face it, people like it. Mainly younger people, but that's not absolutely true in itself either. I mean, the audience on there is wide ranging. And people, content creators make a living off of that, and the people want it. Now, and then the flip side of that is you have this issue that it's owned by elements or elements associated with the Chinese Communist Party, and that they're essentially spying on people through this TikTok app. Honestly, I'm not sophisticated enough technologically to really be able to comment on that. But I know, I guess maybe I have some unease about it. But I'm also more of the mindset that, like I said, I don't think all these files should be classified. Based on my experience of what I saw in the FBI. So I have to be consistent with the same thing with TikTok. That hey, if people want it, they know the risk. Let's face it, Facebook and all these other apps, they're tracking all your data anyway as well. And so I guess what I'm saying is ultimately I'm free speech. Let's just have it, whatever form it's in.
Oh yeah, I'm with you on that, Stuart. Because I mean, smart TVs,
Yeah.
they track everything you do anyway.
Yeah.
So
In fact, the smart TV is probably sending a video signal that's, looking at you, sending it back to whoever's gathering that. So, we just really, the obvious, the hard fact to accept, I guess, is that we really don't have any privacy anymore. It's just kind of a bygone concept from that standpoint, at least online, so,
yeah,
so let it be.
And I thought, you're moving a lot of users of TikTok. So if you shut it down on Saturday, those users have to go somewhere.
Yeah.
And wherever that somewhere goes, their stock is going to shoot through the roof.
Yeah,
so
it's
now
funny
you just
how
wonder
if
people 2 weeks ago bought that stuff.
Yeah, that's funny because the
Mm.
guy who wrote the TikTok ban bill invested 1.1 million or whatever into Meta, which is Facebook.
Wow. I haven't heard that. And that
But,
actually
you know-
that kind of makes sense.
You know where I heard it?
Now we're making sense.
You heard it on
where I heard it on
On TikTok?
Yeah.
On TikTok.
I mean,
Well, it must be
seriously,
true then.
for a while I was really nervous. Like, look, we have our YouTube channel and we are on Instagram and I'm on Twitter. We're on Twitter, digging up Dillinger's on Twitter. But like, seriously, if there's never been a platform to garner a community the way, and you guys know this better than anybody, right?
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
So I don't know. It just is. It's really important, right? Free speech, and
It is.
like you said. I mean, we're okay sitting in our phone on our China-made phones. Even the Gorilla Glass is made in Corning, New York, right? Which is what our iPhone's glass is. But it's made in the chips in it are some of the parts are from China. We're sitting in our Chinese clothing with our Chinese couch, and but we can't use the app because it's spying. We don't know, and that's what's really sad. And I think yesterday when it shut down, it was kind of like a overarching feeling of like, oh man, we really don't have control. And finally, people feel like this app gets a message out to incite the community to believe. I mean, would we have ever known about New Jersey drones if people
Good
weren't
point.
reporting it on, because how much
absolutely.
is that gets through on Facebook and Instagram? Because I'm on those scrolling separately and they're not getting through like TikTok got through, and TikTok's running algorithms to run that stuff because it's interesting,
Right.
not because they want us to find out. So this is my personal opinion, folks. Take it for what it is. But I have a lot of questions, and clearly 90 years of a mystery that just can't be answered, and there's got to be hidden somewhere. So there's more things.
Yeah,
hidden.
I agree. And and to not get political or get contentious, on this, but I think it's a demonstrable fact that the trust in our media, our mainstream media, and our typical and traditional sources of media has really has eroded so much, and that that nobody really trusts it much anymore. And why not just I frankly have just as much trust in somebody that sees something and they can instantly get it out there right now, and it's not filtered through a whole bunch of editors and editorial boards and that kind of thing. It is what it is. And
No,
I'm way more a fan of that than the other way.
yes.
Yeah, that's
That's a good point. Think of the JFK assassination when the FBI confiscated cameras.
Yeah.
And took film from people down there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now there would be people that would be, broadcasting that live or streaming it live as it's happening.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. So a lot of that
Trump.
stuff you just can't hide from anymore. And I'm a huge fan of that.
Yeah, look at the Trump assassination attempt. Everyone was streaming that live.
Right.
You can't collect everybody's cell phones from the,
especially when it's already uploaded.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, it's we used to think arming ourselves against the government or any other adversary was the number one, but really now it's like true information is actually.
It is. Yes, that is definitely the commodity that we all have to protect, and that's the most important.
Yeah, because just like in Pixar's A Bug's Life, if they knew that all they had to do, they outnumber us 100 to 1. If
That's
they
true.
knew
Yeah.
that number, we would be in trouble. So I
Yes.
think,
Yeah.
and this is funny that we have this platform that we're talking to our people who listen to this, digging up Dillinger. We're talking about this, but I mean, it's legitimate.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think we use TikTok, and I really like it for our fans. We don't do it enough. I don't do it enough. But I think, for us to get a message out that's different, that's not going to be like, oh,
Mhm.
these
Yeah.
guys are
Right.
crazy. And you guys know, I mean, Texas Crime Travelers, you guys
Yeah.
you guys are like the
Well,
epitome of like an unbelievable creator. Like, seriously, you guys are halfway to 1 million followers. That's
yeah.
unbelievable,
Well,
Stuart.
well, it's not. I mean, it's not thanks to Todd or I. It's thanks to our producer. But um, you know, uh, again, one interesting thing about that is, yes, we have blown up on TikTok. And our other platforms have not taken off. Near as much.
Interesting.
And
Yeah.
we kind of thought that that audience would follow us. But there's almost a specific TikTok audience, and that's how they want their information. And so if that's the way people want to get information, then hey, someone's got to provide that, and it might as well be truthful and accurate and the best that we
Yeah.
can do. Yeah,
I mean, just think. I mean, our investigation would be dead in the water. We wouldn't be able to bring any information to the public if
that's
we
right.
didn't have
That's
YouTube
right.
or TikTok or anything, and
Yeah.
we would just be I don't know, a flash in the pan.
Well, think about this, Travis. I mean, going back to that court hearing on Dillinger's exhumation, if we didn't have this platform, this forum, there would be, anybody that was interested in this topic. All they would really have were the local newspaper. I think it was the Indy Star, right?
Yes.
The Indy Star
And all the
reporting
TV
that.
stations too.
Yeah, and which basically just fed the line that hey, there was the Dillinger family shot down this exhumation request. Well, I guess technically that's true, but there's just way more to it than that you don't you
Yeah.
don't get from that traditional news media.
Yes.
And the worldwide outlets that did pick it up, where they got that information that they used? The locals, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
Right.
And this is
right.
coming from a former TV reporter.
Yeah,
Our information from a national stories perspective, and I'm not gonna tell you the story that I mean, I don't remember off the top of my head stories, but I'll just give you an example, like the LA fires, for example, right now. Those would be coming from LA or national news organizations or Reuters or the AP would send their own reporters. And so as a TV reporter or as a journalist, you do want to be an AP reporter because you get to travel and go there and then report it. But then it gets put into like a portal, which then local media, based on who owns them, can pull it down. So, for example,
Right.
AP, if you subscribe to the AP, the Associated Press journalists and their stories, you have a portal that you can go into and download those stories for your newscast with video included that are obviously is copyrighted for AP to use or whatever organization is paying into the AP. So sometimes people say like, oh, you want to the TV reporters they're all saying the same thing, and it's true. Like Scripps, for example, they would
yeah,
send out a news story, and producers have a chance to say yes or no to those stories, but some stories are earmarked as, hey, these are high priority, put them in your newscast. And then the script, right? It's easy. Just download the script that they wrote for you as scripts. And I say script, but I mean like literally like the words as opposed to Scripps Media, right? So they take the
right.
words and then they just put it on. And so that like scene, I remember it came out like probably 5, 10, 6 years ago of like the media and people
Yeah,
all across local media saying the exact same thing at the exact same
yep,
time in the exact
yep,
same way. Like that was just from the portal that people are using. At least that's my interpretation of it.
yeah,
And I think the point of it is that same thing happened with you guys in court when you all went to court. Same thing where all of a sudden this one take on
yep,
maybe this multi-angle story is now being portrayed across media and reading headlines. And people don't read the whole article; they read the headline, and then
right.
they don't do
Exactly.
their own
Yeah.
research to
Yep,
figure it out.
yep,
So
Yes.
yep.
herein lies our uh, journey or our purpose in this
Yes.
story and in this mystery is to be able to like hey, let me tell you every side of the story, which is what we've done from the beginning. Not once have I ever felt like we're really trying to push him yes or no. I mean, I have my own
Right.
personal thoughts. Travis, you do too. Stuart, you do. Todd,
Yeah.
we all
Yep.
have our thought on what it is, but in the end, we don't care. We want TRUTH, baby.
Yes, exactly. Absolutely. Yep.
So
Yes.
that's a little perspective on bringing my report. I finally get to talk about when I was a TV reporter for a little bit. I forgot I did that for
Awesome
a while.
job. Good job.
Thank you, Todd. Thank you, Todd. Now let's talk about your Secret Service days. Tomorrow, the inauguration.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Give us a little insight. I did want to ask you this. I know we're a little off topic. Listen, folks, if you're here, you like us. Just Todd's cool as fuck. Let's listen to him. So
Well, it kind of ties in too. So
Right.
yeah.
yeah. So
You
tomorrow,
know, and
talk
I
about
was
like
always
what
saying
tomorrow would be like for you.
it's such a unique day in that, you know, a lot of agents are going to start their shift protecting President Biden, but in somewhere in their shift, they're going to switch to President Trump. And then there's going to be a group of agents who start their shift and they're really not assigned a protectee yet. And at the end of their shift, they're going to get assigned to the former President Biden. And so that detail will start tomorrow.
Is that like
so
the
it's kind
minor
of
leagues former president? Like when
no,
you get
no, not at all. No, but and again, and a new administration coming in, like we talked about, I'm sure he's going to pick his own director. Then, you know, so the director will
I think
change.
he already
tomorrow
has,
and-
Todd. I think he's
Yeah,
already
well, I
named
saw it in the
somebody.
paper. He had a name
Yeah.
that somebody that he was going to pick.
you saw
So
it in
you know
the
that
paper.
changes.
You mean you saw it on TikTok?
Yeah, there
Sorry.
you go. Yeah, on TikTok. No, I actually saw it in the newspaper. So
Wow.
Todd, do you actually read an actual newspaper every day?
no, I go to I read the USA Today headlines on the
Okay.
internet. So
Okay.
there you go. That's where I
Attaboy.
saw it. So
Attaboy.
Okay.
yeah,
Save
Yeah.
those trees.
I like that, and I like to do their crossword too. So
They do actually have good puzzles.
yeah, there you go.
You guys are unbelievable.
So yeah, so it's a unique day tomorrow when you're working. So
Nice.
What do you think is the best job to have in the Secret Service on a day like tomorrow? What would be an awesome, like you'd be like, oh man, that guy got to do that? That's freaking cool.
you know, I think walking the parade, and of course
Oh,
they're not going to have a parade tomorrow. But yeah, the few guys, or you know, the few agents that get selected for that's kind of cool to see that.
Is that like an
So,
all-star game? I keep going baseball.
Well, you know, I think a lot of it just depends on the shift that you're on and when it falls in. If you're the midnight guy tomorrow, you're sleeping through the whole thing.
Sure. Yeah.
And when you wake up, you know, you go to the White House and now it's President Trump. But you know, the last night you worked a midnight shift and it was President Biden. So it's
does President Trump, when he like tomorrow, does he get to choose his Secret Service agents, or like obviously he chooses somebody to help choose him, or like it's just kind of based on the director that he's hiring, that he's tapping to kind of make those decisions for him?
you know, he really doesn't have a decision on the agents that go to that detail. Now he might say something about his detail leader that he wants somebody. It's usually somebody that went through the campaign with him.
Yeah. That's
And now they're around them, and so they're like, okay, you know, this is a good supervisor.
That's cool.
They worked well together. But as the agents themselves, you know, you can have somebody that's been there for a year. Somebody might have been with President Biden for 4 years, and he's got one more year to do with President Trump, like that.
Yeah. He's done this before, right? He's went 4 years, and maybe he's learned, which is why I think people are excited about the next 4 years for the people who are Trump supporters. It's like, hey, he's already done this, so it's kind of give him another chance to do things differently. But he also threw in the wrench of he almost got killed on the campaign trail. So I feel like he's holding things differently as a Secret Service for tomorrow, as well as his administration overall. Do you feel that's the truth, or do you feel like that? What's the newspaper say?
I didn't read that in the newspaper, but I think
I guess your experience. I'm sorry, your experience,
right?
In all seriousness,
I guess somewhere in there you had a question, but I guess I missed it. But I would say that it's There's going to be more assets now that when you're president than what you had when you were a former.
Sure.
So
that's
leave it at that.
like you nailed the question after not hearing it. So
No, I was trying to deflect. I was moving on to something else. I was
Yeah,
hoping you're going to
exactly.
ask me about
Pivoting.
football scores today or football scores yesterday, something like that.
Well, we are. I mean, it's 2 minutes left here in the this Buffalo Baltimore game, which they should have both been in the Super Bowl. Would have been dope. But even though they can't because somebody's got to go through Kansas City
That's right.
and the and the Kansas City refs. So okay, back to what we're really here for, which is Johnny Boy, and trying to figure out what's up and giving our historical breaking history fans some new information. Our goal is obviously number one, to keep fighting and finding something different. And Travis, we have some exciting news. Travis actually got something like an artifact, which is just, it's like, whether it's true or not, it's kind of crazy that you found this. So tell the people, tell everybody the story.
Before that, how did she find you?
Yeah,
Was it
exactly. Tell us the whole round.
Did she find you through TikTok?
No, she actually found me through Facebook.
Damn it.
I know, right? But a lot of people I've gotten a lot of messages through Facebook that don't follow me. They just find me, send a message. It's probably the easiest way. But no, she is a relative of like a grandfather or great grandfather who was a reporter in California. She was going through his stuff, kind of like me and my father are going through Dillinger artifacts. She was going through his and found it's kind of like a bumper sticker. She didn't say it was that. It was like, I don't know if they use it like to tack up a headline before they would use it, right? But it says Dillinger alive and well, living in California.
Let's look at it because I got it here. If you're watching on YouTube, we're going to share the screen. I'm going to show you guys exactly what it says. It's like orange too. It's like reddish orange.
Yeah.
Okay, here it comes. There it is.
It's very interesting. I mean, you can tell. I can tell it's old. It doesn't have the adhesive in the back's kind of weird. It definitely looks old. But she has no information on it other than the stuff that was with like in the late 30s, early 40s. And I've tried to research it. I've not found any newspaper with that heading. So I'm kind of curious why the reporter or the newspaper room would have that, unless that was a story they're going to run with.
Yeah.
And then it got shot down or it got discarded. I'm not sure, but I'm glad I have it. And I got two of them. Gave my father one and one to keep for me. And I think they're very interesting.
Well, I think there's three out there because I saw one on Stewart's car the other day. he had it on his bumper. So
that's funny. I can see that.
Well, Travis, I know we've talked about this on the podcast before, going into the author, J. Robert Nash. I think Joe had done some research on Nash's partner, and we talked about that, on the podcast. When Nash, and I think his partner's name was was it Ogden? I forget. But anyway, when they came out with their book, Dillinger, Dead or Alive, I think it was around 1970. I think that book actually made some indications that Dillinger had escaped. When he escaped, it was to California.
Yes.
So it would be interesting to find out if this lady could give us a time span of when her father, was, would it have gone into the 70s? I'm just because that's the only time I really think I've heard about Dillinger being in California, other than maybe those photographs of the man sent in to the Indy Star in '59. Wasn't that
59 and 61?
Yeah, wasn't that postmark from California or something?
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. And what's also weird is, Audrey and Hubert also, after the untimely death of John, if that's, they started traveling to California. We had no family relatives in California.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, and during the Great
Depression. Is that
Depression,
rumor or do we have proof of that?
No, that's accurate. I mean, my grandmother talked about, because Hubert was a pilot, they would fly to California, which is odd. I don't know why you would travel to California during the Great Depression. but there's a reason for that. I would like to get to the bottom of that.
Yeah.
I think
There's
a
gold in them
a lot of things are pointing towards California, which is weird. The map we found, there's nothing on it for California.
True.
So, which is weird. There's a lot of indications towards California, but the map points us, everywhere else but there.
Closest he got was in Arizona, right?
Yeah, Tucson.
That's the closest he would have gotten, unless Vegas, because
I don't think in 34 that Vegas
Yeah.
was anything but a
No.
crossroads.
it was literally the desert.
Yes.
No, but Tucson, and then I guess you could say not St. Paul, maybe, but I mean that's again. There's in the map doesn't indicate anything in California.
Yeah,
at all,
I mean, the
so.
closest really that it gets, in Tucson, is actually not even marked on the map. But the furthest west was Great Falls, Montana. So that doesn't really make it to California.
Well, I mean that map too. The more and more I think about that map in general, oh my god, we just don't know what it is. It could be a complete decoy.
Yep.
It could be air routes. People have been emailing us and messaging us on the Digging Up Dillinger stuff about it being air routes or a train robbery plan, from the train routes. So, again, we're kind of lost on that. I really want to find some treasure. I mean, that would be the best part. But anyway,
and this would be a great time for the manufacturer of that map to sponsor a road trip for us.
Oh yeah,
Oh, yes.
yeah.
So we can throw the Shell name out there right now.
Yeah,
and they can sponsor it.
Hey,
We
Shell,
will-
you just got that for free.
Yeah,
Yes.
Now just give us some.
Actually, if there's anyone that's a part of Shell gas station, I would love to have a 1934 Shell Indiana map, because I want to do an overlay of the map we have with that.
Yeah, because that 34 Indiana map was found in a car that we know Dillinger abandoned, and it had strange markings and writings on it. But
there's no way,
unfortunately,
for us to get an eBay version. Like, there's none on eBay.
Oh,
I've looked. I've been looking for them, and I found Illinois. I found Kentucky, Ohio.
I found Illinois too. Yeah.
I would love, because I would like to see what it referenced. Like, if the map that was abandoned, that had weird writing and numbers and stuff on it, was like, were they put together? Were they supposed to be together? And then the address book we have, or all three of these things that need to work together to give us kind of a picture of what's going on.
Cool. Well, that's really awesome that you got that. And again, what newspaper was it again?
It was from a newspaper in California. She didn't say. She didn't want me to use her name. I can try to reach out and get some information.
Yeah,
but
let's do a little bit more digging on
just
her.
a little follow up, Travis. Really, what was the time frame? I know you said that there were other artifacts with it that were look like maybe from the 30s and stuff. But
yes.
But to have a headline, essentially the paper was going to use that headline in one of the articles. That's pretty cool to have that in your possession.
Yeah, I agree.
Because I'd like to know why they were going to use it.
Sure.
What information did they have?
Yes.
Because the boldness of this looks like it'd be a headline of the paper.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, like a front page.
That's the actual size that they would use.
Mm-hmm.
So there's something behind that.
Yeah.
So a little bit more research there. We've talked about TikTok. So please follow us on TikTok. I don't want you guys to forget about that. Travis, let's throw a video together so we can show people a little bit more of the artifact on TikTok. And then speaking of artifacts, I think let's go into a little bit of our most recent news. Travis again coming through. People still, if this isn't a testament to how much people care about this guy, I don't know what is. So Travis, you got a phone call, and now we have something to talk about here on the podcast to release.
I think it's very exciting. The Indiana State Museum reached out to me. They had seen I had John Dillinger's baseball glove. What's unfortunate about the museum is they have no artifacts. They have a picture about the size of your thumb of John. They are going to look at the glove, give me information on the glove, kind of tell me timeline when it was used, authenticate it, and then I'm willing. So our fans, I'm willing to not donate it but let them borrow it
Yeah.
on a lease
Sure.
to display it to the public once they get done with what they need to do. And me and Joe are going to go and film it and talk to them and try to build a relationship with them. And maybe we can use some of their resources towards our research.
That's great. I love it.
It's awesome.
I mean,
How did they find out about you to reach out to you?
I'm assuming off TikTok, you know.
There you go. There you go.
that was one of my favorite days, honestly. Oh my God, I got
Yeah.
to hold that glove. That was freaking awesome. Awesome.
Yeah,
So
I mean, it's been sitting around. I mean, for our investigation purposes, I don't see it holds value towards our investigation, but to
Okay.
the public, I think, I mean, the museum is right across from the Indianapolis Indians stadium.
Okay.
If they could put it up during the spring and summer month in baseball season, I think it would draw a crowd.
Yeah.
And and then bring it all the people that are interested in that glove to us.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
Yep.
I love it.
So we're gonna go have a meeting, Travis and I, and I'll make sure that we bring it. I kind of want to, make sure that they get an opportunity to talk to our fans too, right? So hopefully we'll bring you an interview with that as well.
yeah, I gotta
And I think-
I gotta reach back out to her and make sure it's okay that we film and talk to them. I haven't been able to reach back. I'm trying to figure out what's a good time for me to go. So
And I think next time you have a baseball game, Joe, you should wear the mitt and play an entire game with it.
I was
see if
thinking-
you can catch a ball with it.
Oh, there's no doubt.
That would be.
I would be able to play infield with it, but me playing outfield with that glove, that would be really difficult. I mean,
Well,
'cause
we'll
you
put
have
you at
to use-
shortstop then.
You have to.
Yeah, there we go.
There
I
you
mean,
go.
he did play shortstop, so
exactly wearing that glove.
yeah, and he was a lefty, right?
See if you can do
Travis?
it.
Or was he?
Yeah,
a
He
was
was
righty?
he
a
lefty?
lefty, but it's he wore it on his left hand, so he was a right-handed thrower. The photo of him holding it, he's holding it with his left hand in that open area. So I'm assuming he wore, and that's what I asked him. I said, "Was there left-handed, right-handed gloves? Like what was the availability in the 30s
So
or the
well,
20s?"
go ahead, Stuart.
I know. I was going to say, it's a right-handed glove, though, right? I mean, it's a left-handed glove for a right-handed thrower.
Yes,
Correct.
Yeah. But also it had
sometimes
two.
those
It had
old
the
photos
extra
are
finger.
reversed.
Didn't it have the extra finger?
no, I mean because if I would wear it, I would wear it on my left hand.
The
it's
Bills
got
won,
but-
by the way.
But like the pinky, where your pinky would go and your thumb, they're like the same like size. It's
Okay.
so I don't know. That's why I want them to look at it and kind of give me information.
It gives me this. It gives me this feeling, right? Which you can wear on both hands, right? So
Oh, okay.
it could be an ambidextrous glove because that would make sense. Like hey,
Okay.
it's can't
Yeah.
afford very much, so you might as well get one glove. I mean, the manufacturers are probably only making this type of glove, so we'll find out when they authenticate it. But that's one
yeah.
theory for sure.
exactly. But once they do that and we come to an agreement on me putting it out on loan, I would love for everyone who's a Dillinger fan to see a very, very unique artifact that's not actually gangster related or bank robbery. It's baseball.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Well, I think maybe we create a T-shirt that we can sell that everybody could buy, where it has the glove, like a picture of the glove, and it,
Oh,
and
yeah.
just Jackrabbit Johnny. We'll come up with some cool design so that people can wear it on and be a baseball. Because you're right, baseball, John Dillinger, America, apple pie,
that's right.
corruption, FBI. This is what we're living in.
I love
Yeah.
it.
Like if any of the Yankees or some of the Indians players want to hold it, I would be more than happy to let
The
them,
Yankees?
take a photo. Like Aaron Judge, someone. I'm just putting it out.
You'll come right to the stadium and he can
Yeah,
use it for an inning too. Then
yeah. There you go.
Yeah, the Steinbrenners do have a racing team in Indianapolis.
Oh,
So
yeah, nice.
we could try to get it there. There you go, guys. There we go. That's all
Yeah.
it takes. Just a little quick John Steinbrenner talk. That's all we have to do. And just go in there and just act like George, right?
Yeah.
Hey George, this is what you got to do. I'm telling you, we got to do this. We got to get John Dillinger's glove in the clubhouse because it'll break the curse of the Babe Ruth curse. That's what we're going to do, folks.
That's right. But yeah, I mean, once we find out, I'm pretty sure they will probably do a promo on it that is going to be displayed, and I'm pretty sure we can film the first day. And they talked about giving me free passes to like roam around, but I want to see the process. I want to see the
Yeah.
research of what they're going to do to the glove and look at it and
Yeah.
I think it's been handled, because I think it's been handled so much. I don't know what DNA would be there, but they could tell me, yes, it's a 1920s baseball glove. So
And they could probably, I mean, we got to look at the pictures of what glove John was holding. You can't tell me that we can't figure that out off the picture, or the authenticator can't, especially if they're an expert.
Yeah.
yeah,
So we're excited. I think this process is going to be another step in fun to bring publicity and just knowledge about John to the area, and gives people somewhere to go and something to do. I mean, there's so many locations too that I guess we haven't really talked about the locations of John Dillinger in the city, but there's a ton that people can go and like see. And I did the slippery noodle, which, are those bullet holes? Are there slugs in the brick? I don't know. I've been thinking about it. I don't think those might be slugs I think they might be like actual like construction stuff embedded in that to help it stop from falling down. But it is, you can tell there's grooves where you could see bullet holes being shot. But like slippery noodle, there's the art bank, which is on Mass Ave, on the north end of Mass Ave. It's an old bank. They made it into like an art studio. There's one of those he robbed. I mean, there's just so many locations. This would be just the state museum would love to be able to grab that and then get visitors from all over to do it, to come by.
And again, I just want to share this with the public. I mean, there's not many artifacts of his that's out there for the public to actually see with your eyes. And I just kind of want to give back to the community a little bit and have some conversation about it and see where it takes us in this investigation anyway. So,
no, that's great. I love it. And in fact, Travis, really this whole odyssey that we got started on together back in 2018 was to find this lost loot for the purpose of finding it and then returning it, symbolically returning it, and and atoning for maybe some of the sins of Dillinger. And I just thought that was a fantastic idea. And so, it's what got me started in this thing, and I still think it's a legitimate pursuit. And so, I love the idea of giving back like that.
Awesome. Well, I think honestly, we're right here at the end, right up against it, and I think this is a great place to end. We're going to keep going. Clearly, we have some things happening that we want y'all to stay tuned for. Follow us on TikTok. If not, if you don't want TikTok, YouTube's a great way. We get a lot of views on our TikTok. I think I'm sorry, not TikTok, on our YouTube. Like our videos when we do these podcasts, people watch them, and it's great because we're very visual in a lot of ways. So I'm glad we're back.
Yeah,
we apologize.
Right.
Thank you for being loyal followers. We apologize, but in the end, we're doing this all in our spare time, and we all have regular jobs. And it was just Christmas season, and I'm sure, like you all, life gets in the way sometimes. So please accept our apologies for not being there, but we're back, and we're happy to have you guys listening. So we really appreciate it. Any final comments about tonight's discussion?
Absolutely.
Any final comments?
I think really the overall theme of this was the more information, the better. Let's not have any more secrets. Secrets aren't good for anybody. Let's get the truth out there. Let's solve the puzzle.
I love it.
Well
Todd,
said,
anything
Stuart.
from you, bud? I
think maybe Joe has frozen on us. He seems
he's
to
back. Nope.
be frozen in time.
We're kind of. I don't know what's going on. They're watching us now, so we're. I'm gonna say goodnight.
They're cutting you out. They're cutting you out.
That's right. But with all the love, guys, I love you guys. And,
So
we'll talk soon. And
all right,
like
so
we
Joe
always
gets
say,
sign us off, Stuart.
okay. Joe's kind of frozen in time.
God, this is.
We
This is
love
funny.
doing this. We please keep following us. Keep sending questions, comments, your input. Joe is still trying to break into it, but they've shut him off.
the drones got him.
I'm here. The funny thing is, I'm here. They just
People,
can't see me.
they'll go to a lot of links to keep the truth from happening. But we really appreciate this. This is fun for us. We love doing this. I hope that you. That our sincerity in this comes across. There he is.
Oh, I'm here. I'm here. And with
Joe's
that,
spying on us.
remember,
Right.
as
Well,
always,
like he always says, keep digging.
there it is.
Yeah.
Yep, keep digging.